You're not alone.
Not alone.
Well, I'm here to talk about standardized testing and student competency. I'm sure most, if not all of you, have taken the SAT, the ACT, the STAR testing, or even the California exit exam, also known as the CASE. And what these standardized tests are designed to do is enable us to compare the performance of students and students effectively. Well, what these standardized tests fail to do is compare the performance of the true nature of the true ability of these students. Because for one, they lack depth. Two, they leave out details. And three, they're unreliable. The first point where standardized testing lacks depth is that the questions are superficial. They're broad, they're general, and they don't cover everything. FAIR Test, the National Center for Fair and Open Testing, states that all students answer the same questions under the same conditions, mostly multiple choice. In such tests, reward quick answers to superficial questions. Because the questions are superficial, normally the curriculum is also narrow. There's never a question of, is this going to be on the test or is that going to be on the test? It's always the same general set of questions. So you never have to worry about anything extra from the outside. And because there's nothing extra from the outside and there's always a set number of questions, there's no deep thinking or quick thinking. My second point, where using standardized testing to determine ability leaves out many details and many things about what the student is capable of, such as the CASE, the California exit exam. The CASE is a high-stakes test where if you fail, you lose something or you're at a disadvantage. But if you pass, you get something beneficial. In this case, if you fail, you can't graduate, and if you pass, you get to go on to college. The thing is, where if you're good at sports, if you're good at athletics, or if you're good at science, then it doesn't appear on the CASE because the CASE is focused on English and math only. So then, because it's only focused on math and English, it affects what's taught in class. Because the teacher wants to teach what's going to be on the test so you can pass. So other things are kind of left down, and it's limited. It limits you on what you're going to do. The Harvard Graduate School of Education professor Daniel Cortez states that we tend to overestimate what tests can do. Tests are not designed to summarize what students and schools are capable of. But in this case, we use tests to define who they are. Onto my third point, standardized testing can be unreliable. These tests are designed to specify who you are in one test. So, for example, if you have to go to the hospital and take a surgery, or if you have a really bad headache, or you have to take this test because there's no makeup for it, and you fail, it's not going to matter to the person on the other end because all they see is that you failed and you're not qualified for what comes after the test. So testing conditions and mental conditions vary from day to day. There's also underlying bias, such as cultural or linguistic. Like if you came from Asia or India, then you'd have a different cultural background than if you were born here. And if you were from Asia, let's say, and then you were born there and you came here, you'd be at a linguistic disadvantage. So in all, standardized testing does not reveal the true competency of the student because it lacks depth. It leaves out details and it's unreliable.
All right, the claim, you label it, I think the phrasing on it is still a little vague and abstract, and it ought to be a little bit more direct. The secondary points are laid out reasonably clearly, and you signpost them as you go through, although I think you do kind of go through the first one very quickly and the second one as well. You've got a couple of hypotheticals that you use to demonstrate some potential problems. I think that you need to follow up with some statistics on that. That seemed to be the weakest part of the information that you're presenting. You had a couple of authorities who are offering their opinions about the subject, but their conclusions often seem like they are their inferences without an explanation as to why they've reached that particular inference. The one person that you quote from Harvard Law School, who in essence says that tests are not really meant to summarize what people have learned, that's what they've said. Why are they an expert on this? How do they know this? What reason do we have to believe their inference? I think that was problematic. It's a little conclusionary what they're saying, and we don't get much explanation on that point. You did do a good job citing the sources. When you had sources that you were presenting, you were pretty consistent about that. I just thought that some of the arguments stayed at a very generic level, and like I said on that last point, you've got a lot of hypotheticals, but I don't know why somebody coming from another country automatically has a problem with the test. If you got examples of language-based problems that create issues there, math is math regardless of where people are coming from. Why would that be an issue in regard to that? It's not clear how those things have an impact on this, and none of this is measured by any statistical information, and I thought that, like I said, that was a little bit problematic. On your presentation, you've got kind of a quiet voice, and you might want to project yourself a little bit more forcefully. All right, thank you.